My coworker confessed her feelings for me, despite the fact that she is aware of my marital status. One of the reasons why a coworker and I became close at work was because we both had similar interests in movies, television shows, and video games, and we just seemed to get along pretty well. After a few months, a friend of mine, who was also a coworker of ours, confided in me that he had noticed how she would pay a lot of attention to me when we were together. It didn't matter whether we were among a large group of people and someone else was talking, she would still be looking at me. I didn't give it much thought at the time. I'm overweight and only somewhat beautiful, so I assumed she was just being kind when she said that. I usually end up seated next to her in meetings, and it turns out that this wasn't by luck, thanks to another coworker who pointed it out. She insisted on it over and over again. Fast forward to this past Monday, when she confessed to having feelings for me and inquired as to whether I was interested in pursuing a relationship with her further. I was completely taken aback. My mouth dropped open and I was rendered dumbfounded when she informed me, "You do realize I'm married, don't you?" I stammer. She burst out laughing and answered, "Yes, I believe it. I'm not sure if you're happy or not, or if you are, if you're still interested, but I think I like you," and so on and so on. She didn't mention anything like etc. She just kept going on about why she was asking. "You do realize I'm married, don't you?" I reminded her, and she realized what I was trying to say. I informed her, "Look, I think you're wonderful and lovely, but I'm married. I have a wonderful husband. The idea of being unfaithful to my wife is completely out of the question." Her response was as follows: "That's right, of course not. Please accept my apologies," and got up and left work as soon as possible. She returned on Tuesday, and everything was fucking awkward. We had a meeting, and she decided to skip it. As a result, I didn't invite her to join me for lunch as I typically would, and even though we don't have to engage at work, it's still difficult because I still have to see her on a regular basis. So, all that is required is to pose a two-part question. What am I supposed to do? Should I stay away from this and try to maintain a friendly relationship? Is it possible that I've ended any kind of friendship? Also, what the hell do I say to my wife in this situation? She has only met her once, when my wife dropped by my workplace to drop me my lunch, which I had neglected to bring from home. My wife will be really enraged, and I'm not sure whether she'll be enraged with me, her, or both. No, nothing has happened, and nothing will ever happen, to be crystal clear. Additionally, I am really content with my marriage. All I'm really puzzled about is what I should do with my friend and what I should do with my wife. Update. So, it's been a little while, and I wanted to provide an update and express my gratitude to everyone for their suggestions. So on Friday, when my wife returned home, I informed her that I wished to speak with her. I was hesitant to do it because we were about to go away for the weekend, but I decided it was best to just get it out of the way right away. I told her everything that had transpired, and as could be expected, she was enraged at my co-behavior. Workers additionally, she was furious with me because she stated that I must have done something to lead her to assume that I would be up for the challenge. I informed her that I had not done anything that I was aware of, as this had caught me completely by surprise. I informed her that I was not interested in this woman in this manner, that I was terminating any sort of friendship with her, and that I had already unfriended her on Facebook. My wife inquired as to whether or not I intended to report her to Human Resources, and I said that I did not want to put her in any problems. My wife was less than sympathetic, but she just shrugged and muttered whatever. We still went away for the weekend, and I told her that I wanted to put everything behind us and put this whole thing behind us. I promised her that there would be no ill will between me and the other young lady. I then showed her the original post on my Facebook page. Despite the fact that this appeared to appease her, she made it clear that I was not to be friends with this woman in the future, which was already taken care of. What are your plans for this week? In my conversation with the coworker, I informed her that our friendship would be coming to an end, that I was surprised when she originally asked me, but that I quickly became unhappy and even angry as the conversation progressed. That she would believe I would do something like that or even attempt to poison my marriage is terrifying. I informed her that a friend would never do such a thing. She shed a few tears and apologized profusely during the conversation. When she asked me out, I told her that I would report it to HR, but that I would tell them it was just her asking me out and that I had said no, and that I just wanted it on the record. This was done in order to save my marriage as well as my work in the event that something came up. She was furious that I would believe she would do anything like that, but I told her that I didn't think she would. Look, I didn't expect you to ask me to cheat on my wife, either when I told you I didn't expect it last week. So it appears that I don't know you as well as I thought I did, so I'm putting up a front. As a result, the friendship has been severed. We haven't talked in a while. She has returned to attending meetings when they have been called, and she now sits in the opposite corner from me. A couple of friends had taken notice and inquired as to what was going on, but I informed them that it was a personal matter and asked that they respect my privacy. They have done so. For the time being, I'm not in a position where speaking with her is necessary for either of us to perform our duties. I'm more angry than anything else right now because she was a wonderful buddy, which is something I don't have many of at work. We had a lot of conversations and she was my best friend at work, so the fact that she would do anything like this is shocking. However, things are as they are. Story number 2. My partner, with whom I have been in a relationship for 1.5 years, and I are in a FLR, which stands for female-led relationship. It's a fetish for a certain way of living. Without becoming too explicit, I have dedicated my life to making her happy in a seemingly altruistic manner. It isn't quite selfless, I suppose, because I receive pleasure from it myself, but that is all I gain from it. She has complete control over the finances. We only do things if she wants us to do them. We never do what I want. Sex is reserved exclusively for her. I do all the chores and so on. To put it another way, the entire relationship is based on double standards that benefit her while failing to benefit me, to put it another way. But that's just the way things are in our relationship. I've had some difficulties with it at times, but I generally enjoy it. I'm suffering with sciatica in my lower back. It's not usually a big deal, but I made a major blunder over the weekend, and it was disastrous. It was excruciating, and I ended up having to go to the hospital. My girlfriend was absolutely unsupportive and didn't seem to care about my well-being. She advised me to push through the discomfort, but I was virtually rolling about in anguish. It was virtually impossible. I accidentally addressed her by her first name, and she reacted angrily, accusing me of being impolite. As a result, I was forced to drive myself to the hospital because she wouldn't allow me to call for help. All she could think of was how upset she was with the whole situation. I believe she told me that she hoped I would contract the virus, but I couldn't be certain. As I walked out the door, I was completely out of it. After being admitted to the hospital, I was given muscle relaxers to help me relax. I'm feeling better now, but I'm trying not to exert myself too much until the disc has completely returned to its original position. Also, while she has been known to treat me poorly in the past as part of her character, she did not appear to be doing so now. I mean, she was well aware of the gravity of the situation, and I believe she has just expressed herself perfectly. I always had the impression that, despite the fact that we were in a relationship, she was concerned about me. However, because of the nature of our connection, it didn't come out too often. I was under the impression that she loved me in her own manner. However, I've come to know that she just sees me as a literal servant in the last few days. Only as a subservient partner does she seem to be interested in me as a human being. Even referring to it as a partnership is a stretch of logic. Even if this is the inappropriate place to publish this, I was hoping to get some plain vanilla feedback from folks who have normal, healthy relationships. Is it possible that I'm overthinking this? What makes you believe I'll be able to make this relationship work in the long run? Likewise, if any of you have dabbled with dom/sub stuff, I'd be eager to know if any of you have had any similar experiences to mine. Thanks.